Well, this morning I saw a bunch of lumpen elements sponsored by the government, by the State Security Service, to demonstrate in the premises of the court against Mrs. Shore and Bakari. From that moment, I did some investigation, and I got information while I was in the court that a new charge was going to be filed, and that the Director General of the State Security Service had ordered that Mr. Shore be abducted in the premises of the court. And that is what is already going on. You will recall that I did inform the court that the order was obeyed yesterday, and that there are new moves to file a new charge. The prosecutor or the prosecution team said in the open court that no such information was available to them. But here we are now. The court is being prevented from carrying out its normal duty because there was a move to forcefully take them away from the court. As officers of the court, we are going to take appropriate steps. As a matter of fact, we have a sister case in court number 5, where we are also challenging the legal detention for our clients.
SSS disguised as lawyers threatened judge for granting bail, says Falana. Human rights lawyer and reputable senior advocate of Nigeria, representing Omoyele Sowore and Comrade Olawale Bakare in the federal government charge of treason against the duo. Femi Falana has revealed what took place before and during the court invasion on Friday. In the press statement on Sunday, Falana revealed that the personnel of the State Security Service lied in their earlier statements, absolving themselves in the melee that took place in court on November 6th. According to him, the personnel of the service invaded the court disguising as lawyers with full regalia of robe and wig, while others took various positions around the court before the commencement of the case, all in the attempt to forcefully arrest Sowore and Bakare. He also revealed that the secret police threatened to report the presiding judge, Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu, to the National Judicial Council (NJC) for daring to grant bail to Sowore and Bakare. The full story: SSS apologized for invasion of court. As attention has been drawn to the self-contradictory press release of the SSS, in which an unsuccessful attempt was made to absolve itself of responsibility for the armed invasion of the Federal High Court Abuja Judicial Division in general and the desecration of Court Number 7 of Honorable Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu in particular, as well as the illegal rearrest of Omoyele Sowore. First, pretending to forget that the abominable desecration of Federal High Court was covered live by domestic and international media outfits and journalists, some of whom were also direct victims of the gangsterism, barbarism, and brutalization displayed by officers of the service on the 6th day of December 2019. The service has conducted eyewitness accounts of what transpired with the aim of showing that officers of the service were not involved in the rearrest of Sowore. The service argues on the one hand that the arrest of Sowore was still managed by his supporters in order to give the service a bad name, whilst also admitting at the same time that officers of the service arrested Sowore outside the court. Having declared that the service arrested Sowore outside the court despite the stage managing arguments, what the Nigerian people want to see happen is the immediate release of Sowore pending his trial as ordered by the court. However, the following facts underscore our insistence that the service was solely responsible for the desecration of the hallowed chambers of the court. By the advantage of information technology, the whole world has placed responsibility for the gangsteric desecration of the courts on the SSS. The SSS cannot extricate itself from the abominable acts of 6 December 2019. The SSS claimed that Sowore addressed some people at the Transcorp Hotel after his release. Why did the DSS not challenge Sowore for breaching the conditions of his bail? Why did not the prosecutor not inform the trial court that Sowore had breached his bail conditions? When I informed the court that fresh charges were being filed against our clients and that they could be rearrested, the prosecution denied any such plan. Having taken over the courtroom, Justice Ojukwu hurriedly rose and asked the registrar to adjourn all other cases. After the learned trial judge had risen for the day, she summoned the heads of the prosecution and defense teams to her chambers. When the lead prosecutor, Dr. Liman Hassan, SAN, denied knowledge of the invasion of her court, she directed him to invite the head of the SSS team in the court. When challenged to justify the invasion of the court, the officer could not. He apologized to Justice Ojukwu on behalf of the SSS. The judge then directed the officer to withdraw the SSS operatives from the courtroom. The directive was complied with as the operative withdrew from the courtroom but rushed out to join their colleagues who had taken over the entire courthouse. Notwithstanding that the SSS could not produce any warrant of arrest for Sowore, the defense team decided that I should accompany him to the SSS headquarters in view of his physical brutalization inside the courtroom and the open threat to his life. I did and ensured that he was driven in my car to the SSS headquarters, where I handed him over to the officers on duty. Thereafter, I requested for a meeting with the head of the SSS, but I was informed that he was not in the office. Though ordinarily officers of the service do not wear any uniform, on the 6th day of December, some of them were in mufti. Many were not only armed but also masked, while others disguised in lawyers' black and white suits. Regardless of the form of appearance, the officers of the service inside court number 7 were identifiable by their roles and acts of seizing Sowore and pinning him down. It is an utter poor reasoning to say that Showore's supporters were also those bent on injuring him in order to arrest him. The argument of the service in the respect is as unfortunate and pitiable as the earlier argument of the service in respect of the late Chief Gani Fawemi, who was once accused of wanting to set ablaze his own house. If Showore's supporters subjected him to such brutalization in the presence of SSS operatives, why were they not arrested for contravening the provisions of the Anti-Torture Act 2017? Were the SSS operatives expecting the supporters of a defendant to kill him in their presence? Before submitting himself for arrest, Sowore had rightly demanded for a warrant of arrest and detention order but the SSS operatives were unable to produce either. In rationalizing the rearrest of Sowore, which is denied in the same press statement, the service alleged that Sowore held meetings with some people. Assuming without conceding that Sowore held meetings with some people in Transcorp Hotel as alleged by the SSS, why did the prosecution not inform the trial court that the defendant had breached his bail condition? The SSS says it is a law-abiding institution, but why did it refuse to comply with the order of Justice Taiwo to release Sowore? Why did the SSS threaten to report Judge to the NGC for granting bail to Sowore? Why did the SSS subject the order of Justice Ojukwu for the release of Sowore to its own approval by asking sources already verified by the judge to report themselves to the SSS? Incidentally, the current prosecutor, Dr. Liman Hassan, SAN, was the counsel to the defendants in the case of FRN via A. Komodo Muhammad. In that case, the order of Justice Nnamdi Dimgba for the release of the defendants on bail was flouted by the SSS. As if that was not enough, the SSS invaded the home of the judge on 8 October 2016 when the houses of judge accused of corruption were raided. Even though I had never appeared before Justice Dimgba, I had known as a judge of impeccable integrity. So I challenged the SSS for painting an incorruptible judge with the brush of shame. It was after my intervention that the NJC gave the judge a clean bill of health. Thereafter, the judge withdrew from the case. The SSS thought that it had won, but it was Pyrrhic victory. Thus, Justice Soho, current Chief Judge, to whom the case was reassigned, retreated the orders of Justice Dinga and proceeded to rule that trial would not commence in the case until the defendant was released from custody. It was at that stage that the SSS complied with the order of the Federal High Court. In conclusion, we reiterate our demand for the release of not only Sowore and Mandate in obedience to court orders pending the verdict of the court in their trial. We equally call for the release of all other political detainees and criminal suspects who have been admitted to bail pending trial by competent courts. So guys, these are the submissions of Femi Falana, and the pertinent questions that he asked, those were the questions Nigerians have been asking, and I have already also asked about the question, concerning when DDSS or SSS, was bragging that he used to obey court order, this and this and that, and the whole thing is just for the whole world to see, all the excuses, that within 24 hours that the judge gave them to order, gave them court order to release Sowore. But the issue is that why were they requesting for shorties? I asked that question in one of my videos, that why were they requesting for shorties for a very long time, because there was no new order again, or there was no other court case before that time. He just told them, release this guy because you have no right to request for shorties. And all of a sudden, because of that ultimatum given to them, they had to comply, because the whole thing, they've already made some blunder mistakes before now, and now they are capitalizing on that 24 hours ultimatum to have assumed that they do obey court orders. And just like Falana said, some instances of how they have disobeyed court orders, they cannot fool us. And the question now is that they are saying that they did not enter the courtroom, but whether you enter the courtroom, and which is the account this the Falana has given, that they were there, they disguised themselves and all of that. But irrespective of all those stage managed story or drama they are putting up before the public, but the truth of the matter is that you arrested this man. On what basis? Now the SSS has come out to say, oh, he breached the whatever he breached. He did not breach anything. Why didn't you come to the court and make that decision before you arrest him? Those are the questions that they are putting before them. And so those are the questions that Nigerians have been asking. Those who are not even lawyers, even laymen, can come out and ask the same questions, not to talk of people who are learned, people who really know the law. And there's a saying is that, whose reports are you going to believe? Are Nigerians going to believe the reports of the SSS or the report of Falana? And we know where all of these things tend to. Is it the people that have not been obeying court order we want to, listen to their reports or believe their reports? In many occasions, they will say, oh, Sowore, nobody came for him. Oh, this and that, they need shorties. Oh, if they release him, it will be, all those cases. So, all those excuses that have been given. So, they want us to believe what they are telling us, that they are law-abiding. That one in the first place, it has already knocked off all what they have been saying. And now they rearrested the man based on what? And those are the questions the lawyer is putting before them. All those things that they are saying they manage on all of those. He has asked all those questions. Let them answer the questions. Of course, we don't even need to be lawyers, but at times I just, because of some hatred some people have for Omoyele Sowore, that, oh, he's an activist, this and that. I mean, some so-called people who are learned, when you hear what they talk at times, you just be wondering. And some of them I even believe what the SSS said, that, oh, he stage managed the whole thing, and they are saying, oh, Sowore, he's trying to he's looking for popularity, and I don't know where they are getting all of those things from, and they are believing the SSS that Sowore stage managed everything. They've given their report. The Showore's lawyer, they've given their own report, and let's hear and let's see who the masses, the public, will believe. And they're saying that, oh, the international body and public should not believe what the drama they saw on video, that everybody should look into that video. And that's the question, that is it the same Sowore supporters that pinned Showore down or what? Everybody can see from the video. They will just, there was that particular guy that was on ground that was holding Omoyele Showore. Let's know who that person is, because they said they don't know anything, that they were outside. You could imagine they were outside, nothing really happened. But with the account of what Falana has said, it is not late for us to talk about or who to believe. But definitely, Falana is always coming out from the angle of law. Let us see how they are going to go far about that. But in my opinion, I can't even believe what the DSS has said, because they have made several submissions which are really contradictory to the reality and the law in the first place. And Nigerians are asking questions, and their submission and their reactions towards what Falana has said and what the DSS has said. Someone said DSS, or whatever they are called, should provide answers to all these questions when someone is told on what to say, what about, or what to answer. This is not the change that we voted for. That's what somebody is saying. How Nigeria get into this stage? Very, very sad development. Who will help us? Why are they, the DSS, still waiting for? What are they waiting for? They should go ahead and report to the NJC rather than desecrating the court of justice. This is really Hollywood movies in court. So guys, let's hear your opinion concerning what Falana has said. Leave your comments below. Thank you very much.